Hi, I'm Matt O'Lean.
And I'm Brittany Goodman, and we're members of the 2015 Fargo Film Festival Committee.
Welcome to the 2015 Fargo Film Festival preview show. Here's an inside look at this year's festival. This year's 15th annual Fargo Film Festival will take place Tuesday through Saturday, March 3rd through the 7th. This year we had a festival record of over 300 entries from dozens of different states and many foreign countries. The Fargo Film Festival is committed to showcasing high-quality independent films and giving opportunities to filmmakers to show their work in the state-of-the-art historic Fargo Theater, as well as the fantastic, intimate second screen next door to the main theater called Fargo Theater Off-Broadway. Films will be shown in 7 categories: narrative feature, narrative short, documentary feature, documentary short, experimental, animation, and student. The festival also contains informational seminars in addition to networking opportunities and provocative lunch panel discussions featuring filmmakers, film academics, and people in the film industry.
The Fargo Film Festival is all about movies and people who love movies. These movies entertain and inform, and we hope that they will provide you with something to talk about. The venues for this year's festival are the beautiful and historic Fargo Theater, which is our main venue, and our second venue, the popular and intimate second screen Fargo Theater Off-Broadway, located right next to the original Fargo Theater in downtown Fargo.
For the festival's first 14 years, the Fargo Theater's former executive director Margie Bailey and current executive director Emily Beck, along with members of the various film festival judging committees, have been committed to expanding the audience for the festival. The festival opens Tuesday afternoon, March 3rd, at which time Best of Show winners will be announced. This is also the first year that films will be screened starting on Tuesday afternoon. We've increased our number of entries in recent years, which means we have more quality films and product to show.
There will be luncheon panel discussions Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at noon at Worst Beer Hall in downtown Fargo. We are very pleased that on Saturday night, March 7th, the festival special guest will be acclaimed film director John Waters, who will deliver his one-man show and also receive the Ted Larson Award. The Fargo Film Festival is not only about movies. Festival attendees, filmmakers, movie lovers, and special guests will all have many chances to socialize before and after the films and events. On Friday night, March 6th, after all movie screenings are done, the post party will be at Sons of Norway in downtown Fargo, featuring karaoke in the quaint and unforgettable Troll Lounge. And on Thursday night, March 5th, once again at All-Star Bowl in Moorhead, it will be the 4th annual Bunny Lebowski Pro-Am Invitational featuring bowling and good times. Before the night screenings each day, there are pre-parties at various downtown locations starting at 5 p.m. These locations will be Etche on Tuesday night, Mezzaluna on Wednesday, To Be Determined on Thursday, Plains Art Museum on Friday, and the Hotel Donaldson on Saturday night.
Well, Brittany, we have an exciting film festival, and I know we say that every year, whether Tony Tilton is sitting here with me or Tom Brandow, some past co-hosts, but this time I really think everything has come together wonderfully. We have guests committing early, and we have some exciting things. Why don't you tell about a few things that are coming?
Well, I have to say, as you said, every year we're excited, but I'm the most excited this year. One of the things I'm really excited about is the Jeff Schlossman produced It Follows. That's on Friday night. I think we're going to get a big crowd in here. It is a horror film. I like horror films.
It's screened at Cannes.
It screened
Did
at
very
Cannes
well
and
there.
Sundance too. So, I mean, I think this is not your normal slasher film. It's very a thinker's horror film. So I can't wait to see it.
And Jeff's been a good friend of the film festival. Of course, he is from Fargo. He's gotten into the film industry now, brings people into the festival, and so we're very pleased with that. Saturday night, very exciting. John Waters is our special guest on Saturday night with his one-man show.
He's going to be entertaining for sure. I can't wait to meet him. I hear that he's going to be signing copies of books afterwards, so you would actually get to shake the man's hand, the man who did Pink Flamingos and Crybaby.
Hairspray.
Yeah, wonderful.
He's certainly one of the biggest guests we've had at the festival, probably along with Kevin Smith and Guy Madden and some other people, so we're very happy to have him. Wednesday night, the House on Pine Street, we have almost the whole cast and crew coming. This was shot in Illinois. It's our narrative feature honorable mention winner. Talk about this film.
Well, Emily Goss is an amazing actress, and she is going to be coming, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm excited about that. And it really builds tension. I would say it's psychological horror, and I'm a fan of the horror genre. It just kind of has you waiting to see what's going to happen next.
And she sees things and feels things, and everyone thinks she's nuts. And we've heard that plot before, but it's very well done, and we're excited to have them come. And then Thursday night is just a night of shorts.
My favorite category is usually narrative short. I really like to watch that. I think it's hard to make a feature film, but I think it's also hard to make a really good short film. And the ones that we have are absolutely the cream of the crop.
Yeah, it's going to be a great night. And again, mornings and afternoons, check your schedule. There's great films in the mornings and afternoons as well.
The whole festival, great films.
The opening night, I think, is going to fill up the theater. We have had so many people ask the theater. Emily Beck has told me, when is the overnighter screening? This is one of the best documentary features I think we've ever had at the festival. And again, the director, Jesse Moss, will be here from San Francisco. You know, he spent months and months in the Bakken shooting this film with Pastor Jay Reinke. And it's a controversial film, too, because you see the pull and the tension within the town of Williston. Yes, the boom is bringing money in, but it's also bringing high rents. People can't afford to live anywhere. They have to sleep at the church. They have to sleep in campers. They have to sleep anywhere they can. And the pastor in the film, Jay Reinke, who will be at the festival taking questions and answers, he is compassionate to them. And he's telling them this is the Christian way to act. And sometimes the parishioners aren't convinced that that is. And that's really interesting, isn't it?
I thought so, and I felt myself, although I was more on his side, I could see the local people and the parishioners questioning it because they were thinking there was maybe an element of crime coming into their town. I see that in Fargo even. So yeah, they did a good job with showing that tension.
It's a very even-handed documentary. So now let's take a look at a clip from the documentary feature winner, The Overnighters.
Already come, His grace has brought me safe thus far. His grace will lead me home.
In church, a lot of times I feel really angry when I look around and see these guys. And I feel upset when I walk in and my church is messy and it smells bad and there's sand on the pews. And they seem disrespectful in church. Their cell phones are going off and sometimes they're talking and they're walking in and out. And they don't seem to understand what we're doing, you know, and they don't respect it. And I get that, but I understand that's not being very Christian and all those kinds of things, but those are real feelings.
I don't see that much, truthfully. And I think sometimes the guys stand here on a Sunday morning, they're not sure what to do.
Yeah,
do they sit here?
True.
Do they, what's the appropriate place to be? So they feel a little bit awkward because they realize they're in someone else's domain.
If you can't get a job here in the oil patch, and, within the first 48 hours, 72 hours, you're probably not going to get a job there. So then you're going to be working McDonald's, parties, whatever. So we're just going to contribute to that layer in the community that doesn't need to be contributed to.
Shelley,
That's a huge
would have
concern of mine.
Part of my burden is I do know some of these families, and I've talked to some of the wives, and they are so grateful.
How long do we intend to support them here is my question, because they have no intention of building anything here.
Yeah.
And so these people come and they rape, pillage, and burn, and then they leave. It's heartbreaking to me to see my plains, my prairies destroyed.
Amen. And thank you for good company. All right.
So, how do you guys feel about people coming and staying in you guys' home?
When I met him, he had an 18-year-old Native American guy living in his basement.
I forgot about that.
I think it's a good thing. It's nice to meet people.
I think it's good. I like it. I enjoy it.
Well, I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to stay with you guys. I really appreciate it.
You bet.
This is the family room, okay? That's Eric's room. This is the laundry room. There's the bathroom.
Well, documentary short, let's move on to that. Sometimes the little brother of documentary feature, but it's a very strong category this year, and the winning film, Shot in Syria, in the war zone, is our winning film.
Not Anymore, a story of revolution. It really got to me. It's very tense. It features two main characters. One is a young woman, I believe she's 23 years old, and she's a journalist. And the other is a freedom fighter in Syria. I was struck by the danger in the film, for one thing.
Yeah, you just feel like they're, at any moment, they're in incredible danger. And that, you know, people forget filmmaking is sometimes a very dangerous business.
Now let's look at a clip from Not Anymore, a story of revolution.
I used to wear fancy dresses and high heels, but not anymore. I'm 24 years.
So you're going to spend a good part of your 20s in war?
Yeah. I have to do this for my country. I have to give what I can give. It's pretty important to let the world see what's going on. You know, I think nobody knew Syria, even on the map, before this revolution, and now everybody knows what's going on in Syria, and that's because of the press covering what's going on. That's really important. Somebody has to see all this. Somebody has to know what this monster is doing to us and to his own people. And I'm making sure that somebody's gonna know. All the people in the world are going to see this, hopefully. See us suffering. See the civilians suffering. I mean, it's not a way to do this. It's wrong.
Narrative feature is a very strong category this year, isn't it, Matt?
It is, and we talked about House on Pine Street, which is honorable mention. The winning film is called Frequencies, out of Great Britain. This film already has distribution. It's been running on Showtime. It looks like a professional film that you would see in a Cineplex. And it's an interesting film, kind of science fiction-y. It's about people that are born with frequencies, and they either have a high frequency or a low frequency, and it's a class system setup because they try to group those people with other people. But in the film, it's a love story of two people that don't have the same frequency, and we keep wondering, are they gonna get together? Are they going to be a couple? And once you're into the film, it's a great film, and it was a very strong category. So let's take a look at a clip now from our narrative feature winner, Frequencies.
How did you last more than a minute?
I changed my frequency.
You know that's not possible.
Knowledge determines destiny.
You did this. You found the solution.
Yes. Does that surprise you?
Yes.
You a low frequency?
Not anymore. What we know about frequency is wrong. Otherwise, you and I would never have met.
You said you could help me.
I can change your frequency.
Lower it?
I don't think it gets much higher.
But nature works hard to give me everything.
Almost everything.
Tell me the process.
Okay, I don't think you're gonna like it. Essentially, it's an energy exchange. I will be bringing you down a lot closer to my level. There are a lot of processes at work, but one of them is me touching you.
Clever.
The negative feedback loop should eventually be self-reinforcing, but I will need to be physically close to you for a while.
Very clever. How soon will I see results?
If it works as I hope it should, instantly. You want to do it, I can tell.
Please don't lie.
Youth's sake, you will have feelings for the first time in your life.
Theoretically.
Let's move on to narrative short. Traditionally, very strong category. You're almost either always the chair of this category, or you're on the committee, or you're pre-screening. You are the mover and the shaker on this committee.
Well, I would say so, and narrative short, as I said, is my favorite category, and it is the strongest I've ever seen in this category. We had more submissions than ever before, had to pre-screen. You know, I just saw so many good films. And at the top of the list is Into the Silent Sea. It is a story about a Russian cosmonaut who is out there by himself, and he ends up not being in touch with his own country, but with some sort of ham radio guy in Italy. And they're having a conversation, and the Italian radio guy is trying to do what he can to save the Russian cosmonaut. And now let's take a look at Into the Silent Sea.
Tell me about where you live, Alvaro.
I live in the city of Syracuse. It's a very pretty city, and I have a little house on the hill with a view of the city and the sea. And I have a little garden, and sometimes I just like to sit there and drink of wine and look out to the beautiful sea. I love the sea. Always make me feel very free, you know?
Let's now move on to student category, and our student films get better and better every year. Very highly produced. Our winning film this year, our filmmaker's from Beijing. He studied at the Rochester Institute of Technology, and it's a tremendous film. Tell folks about it, Brittany.
Well, it's called Carry On, and it was actually on the short list for narrative short for the Academy Awards this year, which is really unprecedented for a student film.
Because they're competing against professional filmmakers.
Yes, indeed. It is about the removal of Japanese forces at the end of World War II, and there is a Chinese man who is doing everything he can to save his family. The acting in this by both the Japanese person, the army guy, and the Chinese father, amazing acting, and it's a very surprising film, and I think everybody's going to want to see it.
It's so good, Brittany. It almost, when I watched it, it could have been expanded into a feature.
I wish that they would make it into a feature. And now let's take a look at Carry On.
次の村まであとどのくらいだ？
はい。いえ、2でです。
よし。塀で女たちを降ろしてから次の村へ向かえ。そこで落ち合おう。俺たちは先に徒歩で村まで行ってる。
はい。
全体囲み体操を取れ。
構え。撃て。鬼子来了！鬼子来了！快跑呀！鬼子来了！
So Matt, talk about the experimental category.
Again, this is a category, people don't see experimental films. You don't see them at Marcus Theaters or Carmike or wherever you're going. You can see them at the Fargo Film Festival. Some people get nervous about watching experimental films. They don't have a story. They're not a linear narrative. People can kind of get intimidated by watching these films. But our winning film this year is Confluence, and it's a wonderful film by a filmmaker from New York City. And it's really not about anything, but it is about something. You feel like you're watching maybe plants growing. You have music underneath that's very powerful. The cinematography is great. And once 5.5 minutes is done, you're like, whoa, I really saw something interesting there that's something that I normally don't see. So let's take a look at a clip from our experimental winner, Confluence. And finally, animation. This is always a strong category. Greg Carlson, our friend, has done a great job. We've had Oscar-nominated films over the years, and this year, another film on the short list for the Oscars called Coda from Ireland.
I really love this film. It's very interesting. It starts out, not to give too much away, but something happens and the character is walking around as a lost soul. And he runs into what I would assume is death. And death ends up showing him different aspects of his life. And it's very moving. It's kind of funny in places too. I just really liked it.
And again, if people want to see animated films, Fargo Film Festival, check your schedule. We usually cluster them into groups.
Now let's take a look at Coda.
Don't you start to me now. No drinks outside, please.
Cheers. Good night. I'm going home.
I think you'd better.
Yeah, okay, I'm going.
Just need to fire for 3 and 1. Hey!
I'm all right. I'm going.
Be careful now.
Come on.
And finally, let's talk about the 2-minute movie contest. Friday night, March 6th, 9:30 at the big venue, and our friend Greg Carlson does such a great job organizing this. And you like this evening as well, don't you?
Oh, it's always fun. I like to see what people come up with. Sometimes it's even a junior high student putting together a film.
And they're kind of crazy films. They can be a little edgy, so be warned of that if you've got kids, but they can't be longer than 2 minutes. They can be shorter, but they can't be longer than 2 minutes, so that'll be a fun night as well. I also want to mention that the documentary feature honorable mention winner this year is I Am Big Bird. And check your schedule when that's going to screen. That is about Carol Spinney, who has played Big Bird for years, and I'm happy to announce that Prairie Public is sponsoring that showing, and we're paying for the screener fee as well. So Prairie Public, very happy to be involved with the I Am Big Bird film. And then finally, Brittany, some ticketing information on John Waters.
The John Waters event on Saturday night will not be a part of any of the festival passes, but you can get those tickets through Tickets 300, either online or in downtown Fargo at the Tickets 300 office.
Well, that concludes the 2015 Fargo Film Festival preview show. Remember to check the website for ticketing and festival pass information at fargofilmfestival.com or fargotheater.org, or you can call the theater at 701-239-8385.
We'll see you March 3rd through the 7th. And remember,
why go to Cannes
when you can go to Fargo?
We'll see you at the festival. So long.